or welcome back to my channel, and welcome to Vlogs from the Car. So today, and in this vlog in general, we are going to be going over my current reads and catching up on books I'm in the middle of, and basically just trying to prioritize books I currently have checked out from the library and things I need to finish reading. So today we are going to gym, run some errands, and I just wanted to update you on what I'm reading as of right now, and then I'll tell you some more in-depth thoughts when I am in another location. So I am currently reading The Wife Before by Shanora Williams. And so far I'm really liking it. I am only probably like 20% through. It's kind of like domestic thriller vibes. It feels pretty fast paced. So hopefully I can lock in and finish that today. So yeah, I will update you when I have more thoughts on that. We are about to hit the gym and get super swole and super jacked. So say hi, Angelo. Yep, that's the plan. Talk to you later. Bye. I apologize for my hair. I just got out of the shower and I haven't done anything with the rest of it yet, so we'll get there. But I wanted to update you on basically just the books that I'm in the middle of, almost done with, and just started, that I am going to try to prioritize finishing before I pick up something else. So I'm currently reading 4 books right now. I guess I'll start with this one because I'm about to finish this. City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. So I never read it is the Shadowhunters series, right? Sorry, the Mortal Instruments series. I never read this, like, back in the day when everyone was reading it, and people have been telling me how great it is, so I picked it up. I am like, I have this much left. Like, I'm like 95% through this book. And at first, I was not loving it. I don't know if I would say I am loving it now, but I am having a better time now that, like, more reveals are happening, and I do feel more invested in the characters and the story now that things are picking up. Obviously, this is a 6-7 book something series, so I feel like it's going to be one of those that, like, it gets better on book 2 or 3 or something. We'll see. Originally I was thinking about doing, like, a dedicated reading vlog reading all of these, but honestly I don't know when I'm going to pick up book 2. I'm, at least right now, not that invested to immediately pick up book 2, but I mean, the last not even 50 pages, whatever, I don't know, something crazy could happen and we could abandon all of these other books and just go straight to book 2 for this. But let me tell you what this is about if you're unfamiliar. So this follows Clary Frey, and she, basically the book starts with her and her friend going to the club to celebrate her birthday. She sees these guys, like, attacking someone, and then slowly realizes that, like, she's the only one that's seeing this and other people are not seeing this, right? So that then leads to her getting basically introduced to the world of the shadow hunters, and she's like, why can I see these things and no one else can, type of thing. And then her mother gets taken, kidnapped, and the story is basically following her trying to get her mom back, is a very shortened way of saying what this is. It's very like cringy early 2000s dialogue, which like I kind of knew it was going to be, but it's just, it's kind of made it hard for me to pick up a little bit, just because I feel like I'm kind of was over it for a while. But now that bigger things are getting like revealed and it's getting kind of juicy, I am more invested. Like the first probably 50 to 60% of this, I was gonna rate this like a 2-star. Depending on how it ends, it could be a 4, maybe might be at like a solid 3, but I'll update you when I finish it. I just wanted to give you some thoughts on this before I actually finished the book, because I think this is going to be the first thing I'm going to try to just sit down and finish to be done with it. If this is something that you think I should 100% invest in finishing this series as soon as possible, please let me know. I mean, it's gone this long without me doing that, but hey, this could change my life. I don't know. I do feel like this is something that, like, if I had read it at the time when it did come out, and I was, like, of the intended audience's age, that it probably could have hit harder, but, based on, like, the characters in here, the only one I kind of like Simon from the start of it, because he was funny and had a sense of humor. From the jump, I really didn't like Jace. He's really, like, edgelordy. Yeah, I don't know what other word to use to describe him. It didn't really vibe with him from the start, so there's not much else I can say without getting into spoilers, because I'm so far into the book. But, yeah, that's City of Bones. And then I'm also reading, I told you about it briefly before, but just to give you some more context to what it's about, The Wife Before. So this is a thriller. We follow Shamira is the main character's name. So basically the start of the book, she's like going through it, struggling to keep a job, and she has a relationship with her brother, and they usually like go out to eat for lunch like once a week, and he's also been like helping her with bills and like lending her money now and then just to like keep her afloat, basically. And then she goes out to lunch with him one day, and he's like, hey, I can't keep like basically spotting you money, you know, because he is going to have his first child soon. He's about to get married to this girl, and our main character is kind of like salty about that, because she's like, you've supported me for so long, and my brother, you know, and she expresses that she doesn't really like the woman that her brother is with or whatever. So that's pretty much how the story starts. And then we are also introduced to the love interest man in the book. So she meets him when she's at like a bartending gig, and she an incident happens. Let me not go into super spoilers, but this is like the first probably 20 pages of the book. So basically an incident happens that leads to her getting like minor injuries, and he is a guest at this party that she is working, and he comes to help her like clean up the wound from this injury or whatever, and she's like introducing herself to him. And then she's like, oh, what's your name? And he's like, oh, you don't know who I am? Like, really, like, just, like, cocky and, like, you should know who I am type of thing. And she's like, yeah, I have no idea who you are, man. And then he explains that he's, like, a pretty famous golfer. So she's like, oh, okay. Like, and then she just, like, kind of goes about her day after that. And he ends up getting her number through people that were, like, working the job, or, like, asked for her number, basically. And then they end up going on a date, and it was something that, like, she expressed being interested in him, you know, like, she thinks he's cute or whatever. So then they go on this date, right, and she still doesn't even, like, look up anything about him really, and then later down the line her brother finds out that, well, she mentions to her brother and she's like seen in public with him, right, because he's famous, like paparazzi or whatever follow them. And then her brother's like, yeah, no, you need to look into this guy because there's like a past to him and like you shouldn't trust him and blah blah blah. So then she ends up like basically, you know, Googling him and kind of finding out. So long short, the husband was married before, right? So that's the whole thing with the title, The Wife Before. He was married before and his wife had passed away, and there are circumstances surrounding her death, basically, is all that you need to know with that. So we're basically uncovering her as she's getting into this like longer term relationship with him, and discovering things about the previous wife's life before she passed away, pretty much. So it's good. Like, it's fast paced. It's definitely one of those that like you're mad at the main character. I'm like, girl, why are you doing these things? Like, you just met this man. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I feel that way most like domestic thrillers that I've read, and I don't want to like feel like I'm victim shaming her, you know, but like just some of the choices she's making, I just, how? And I get that it's crucial for the plot of what this is. I think it's a little bit of a suspend your disbelief type of along for the crazy ride type of book. So that is the other thing I'm reading. So hopefully after City of Bones I can read more of that today as well. And then the other two are books that I started, one quite a while ago and the other one a little bit ago. Okay, I feel weird that I'm about to talk about both of these back to back because these are very, very different books. So let me just start with, I've been reading The Den of Vipers. So I started this in, I think it was April. Honestly, it's been that long. And I only have this much left. I got to a point that I really just didn't care anymore, and if I did not physically own this book and hadn't bought it with my own money, like I probably would have just DNF'd like 250 to 300 pages in, because like it is what it is, you know. But I just really don't care anymore. And it's at like a pretty pivotal like scene in, I guess, the plot of this. Okay, I guess I should let me tell you what Den of Vipers is about. So, if you're unfamiliar, this is a like romance mafia erotica. So we follow Roxanne, and she works at this bar, and then at the start of the book, basically she's so she has like an estranged bad relationship with her father, right? The start of the book, her father ends up selling her to these, it is the mafia, right? Yeah, the mafia family, the Vipers. So her father sells her to the Vipers. The Vipers come to her bar, kidnap her from there, and take her to their penthouse. What else does it say on the back of this book? Let me not spoil what this is, but I mean, okay, yeah, so now trapped in their penthouse, they say I'm their toy to play with and discard whenever they see fit, but the Vipers have no idea who they're dealing with. I intend to take advantage of the hunger in their eyes. And then basically we follow as she's kidnapped by them, stuck in the penthouse, determined to escape, but then also falling for these men. So, yeah, based off the back, it says, I'm getting under their skin, turning their desires into an addiction they won't be able to shake. What's more, I'm indulging my own dark fantasies, ones I've never been able to satisfy until now. So even just the writing of that, it's very cringy. The writing is not good in this. Not that I expected it to be, but it's so repetitive. Like, this did not need to be. This is like 400 something okay. Yeah, it's is this no, it's like 450 pages, guys. So this does not need to be 450 pages. It's just it's too much for what it is. And I will tell you, like, the first 150 pages, I was having, you know, a silly goofy time or whatever. Like, I felt like I was understanding what the girl was hyping this up about. Sort of, kind of, like, I was in it. And then it just kept going. And it still hasn't stopped. But yeah, I'm pretty much just, I've gotten this far and I'm sort of hate reading it but having a bad time. This honestly is probably going to be a 1-star. And I usually feel bad if, like, I feel like it's a 1-star, I should just DNF it. But again, just because I bought it, I also just want to feel the, I guess, joy of saying I've finished a book. But also to say I finished it. I mean, maybe the ending of this is going to really surprise me or shock me or make me fall in love with all these characters and it'll get bumped up to a 2. I don't know. I'll keep you updated on that. So, and then complete 180. I am also reading the Communist Manifesto. And again, it's hard to go from that to this. So what is there to say about the Communist Manifesto that's also not going to get me kicked off of YouTube? So I'm not even at the, if you are not familiar with Penguin Classics, like, just a lot of them do, like, intros at the front of the book, right? And then the back half of the book is the actual, like, the book, or in this case, the manifesto, right? So the actual manifesto of the Communist Party starts here. The rest of this 190 pages is the intro. So I'm on page 99 of the intro. I am really debating at this point just going to read the actual, like, manifesto and then going back and finishing the intro, right? Because it's all, like, it's interesting, right? But I don't feel like I necessarily need the backstory of Marx's life in order to get whatever I need to get out of just reading the Communist Manifesto. So I think I'm just going to read the actual thing and then go back, because there's different obviously versions and publications of this, and some of them are just like the actual, like, however many pages, 40-50 page long manifesto, right? So I might just do that, and then I feel like I'll probably have more context by going back to the intro that way. Sometimes I really wish they would write things like this, is like the work at the front and then the explanation in the back. Like, if this was like a 20-page intro, I could see it, but, like, I feel like if you're picking this up, you already know something about, heard of this, right? But my reason for picking this up, I guess, this has been on my physical TBR just for a while. I honestly think I got this at, like, a library sale or a thrift store or something, and it definitely is a text that a lot of people, like, refer to, right? But probably have not actually read, so I was kind of just one of those, like, okay, let me actually read this, have the context of what's in it, to then apply that to other, nonfiction, literature, whatever, different media things that refer to this. So that's the Communist Manifesto. I'll update you when I finish this as well, and I'll let you know if after reading it I do recommend trying, like what I said I was going to try, like reading the actual thing and going back, if this is something that you're interested in picking up or just kind of text in this realm in general. I think sometimes that can maybe give you a better understanding or whatever. But that's all I have for you right now. I will update you once I finish something. I'll let you know what my final rating is for City of Bones. But for the rest of today, I also do have. I think I have some of these on audiobook. I do want to try to finish knitting. I'm knitting a tank top right now, and I'm like very close to being finished with it. So I do want to try to finish that tonight, and then other than that, just kind of reading for the rest of tonight, and I will update you once I get through something. Hey, so I'm here with updates. So last night I did finish City of Bones. It's gonna be a 3 star for me. At certain points, I was like, okay, maybe it'll be a 4 star, but honestly, overall, Clary was just whiny the whole book. I didn't really love any of the characters that much, really, and even like some of the, like, I guess reveals got me. Like, I was surprised by it, but I didn't really feel like invested in the story, I guess. I am interested to see what's going to happen the rest of the series, but not enough to like immediately pick up book 2. I do want to check out the movie and the I don't know if the TV series is only the first book. I imagine it's the whole series, right? But I've heard mixed reviews about the movie and the TV series because I heard someone say the movie's terrible, but then someone else said the movie's decent, but the TV show's better. So I don't know. If I check either of those out, I'll let you know on that. Um, Overall, I'm glad I read it. Not really anything more to say than what I said in my initial like clip from wherever I was almost done with it to finishing it. As far as like final thoughts, it was what it was. I'm glad I finished it. I'm kind of not so glad I now added another series. I have started but haven't finished, but it's fine. And then The Wife Before, I am like 70, 75. Let me tell you where I'm at in this. Okay, I'm 79% through The Wife Before now. So I definitely read more of that yesterday and then into today. I'm still liking it. It is very much just like domestic thriller type of vibes, but it's more so her like uncovering the experience of the previous wife more so than focused on her current relationship now, which I thought it was going to be more like him starting to show signs of behavior he had in the past or something. But basically, what it is, and it tells you this in the synopsis, I didn't realize until I like went and read the whole thing. So she moves in with him, gets married to him, and moves into the house that he used to live in with the previous wife. And she's like, "Oh, I'll help clear out the den, shed, whatever, like the space that used to be kind of hers, right?" And then she finds her like diaries. So the book starts switching like perspective basically through like her journal diary entries and then to the main character, like back and forth like that. So I mean it's definitely fast paced, but it is what it is. I guess like I'm still having a good time. I am interested to see how it's going to end and the reveals and who did it and stuff like that. Our main character is still making really dumbass decisions, but you know what? It's fine. following her for the ride. So I didn't realize that this author as well, she's written like a bunch of books. So I do want to check out some of her other work. The author is Shanora Williams. If you guys have read any of her other books, let me know which ones I should pick up next, because I mean they are fun. I like the writing. Like it's simple. It's kind of like popcorn thrillery, but like I don't know, having a good time. So tonight, I am going to photography club meeting thing with my uncle. Near me, they have this group that does like photography, and they invite different like photographers to come and like give a like speak to the photographers in this group. So I guess this guy photographs black bears, which sounds super cool. I'll put some pictures of some of, I think it's a guy, I think it is, and I'll correct something over myself if I'm wrong, but I'll put some of his work here so you can kind of see. But it sounds really cool. I definitely have been wanting to get more into photography again. I used to dabble like years ago, and now all I'm really doing is, I mean, filming videos, obviously, but it is something I want to, get better at. And it's just so fun to see people be really good at like their art and their craft, like it's really fun to hear people kind of explain the vision behind the art, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I'm just like a nerd about about art, but like seeing someone's like final, in this case like picture, and then hearing them talk about like everything that led up to them like getting that shot type of thing, I don't know, it's fun. So that's what I am doing tonight. And hi, so it is now Friday. I kind of slacked on updates for a couple days, but I do have some updates for you guys. The good news is I have been reading, but the bad news is I have not read the books I said I was gonna read. But you know what? It's okay. We made some progress on something. So on, what was I reading before? On Monday, I was telling you about The Wife Before. I did end up finishing that on Monday. So I ended up giving that 3 stars. It was a decent thriller. I kind of wanted it to handle the reveals differently. Not to give you any like spoilers or anything, but it was just very much like kind of info explaining, like dumping the ending on you of like this and then this and then this and then this type of thing. And I feel like it kind of like over explained it to me too much, more than just like showing me what happened with the ending. So that's kind of my main complaint with that. But I did still like it. I mean, it was a fun thriller. I would definitely pick up another book from that author again. If you want something just like fast paced, I think that is a good recommendation. There was one of the like reveals was something I very much like guessed or saw coming from pretty early on in the book. So I think that if I hadn't predicted that, it probably would have like hit better or been a better reading experience for me. So that was The Wife Before, and then after that, I picked up a short audiobook. It was Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor, and this author I actually read from before. I actually read this book, Death of the Author, like a couple years ago. I want to say I read this, and I've been meaning to pick up more of her work as well, because I did really like this actually. So that's what led me to pick up Remote Control. And this is like a short little like sci-fi novella basically. So Remote Control is about this girl named Fatima, and she basically finds like this seed under a tree that kind of gives her these like powers, but aren't really powers. It's more of like a curse of death on her basically. So like anything that she touches, like people, anything electronic, like just dies based on her touch kind of. So that's sort of like the sci-fi element of it. So Yeah, in the synopsis it says, her touch is death, and with a glance, a town can fall. And she walks alone except for her fox companion, searching for the object that came from the sky and gave itself to her when the meteors fell and when she was yet unchanged, searching for answers. So basically she found this seed, right? And then when she is a child, like, someone comes to her home and talks to her father, and like they take the seed. So then the whole book is kind of like her journey trying to find the object again, sort of. So there's not too much to say about this because it's a really short, like 4-hour long audiobook, and I don't want to get into too much because it's such a short story. But it was really effective. I did like the main character. I like just kind of like being in her head and getting to know her world and her life and things like that. Overall, I rated this one 4 stars. I think if you're looking for something quick that's like sci-fi but also literary, I would recommend picking that up. I do kind of wish that I had the physical book along with the audiobook, just because I feel like that would have made me more like immersed in the story. Just anytime I'm reading like sci-fi or fantasy, I just really like to immersive read. So for me, like listening only on audio, I really had to like sit there and lock in, if that makes sense. And then after that, I actually was looking on Pagebound. So if you're not aware, Pagebound is a like reading tracking app, and one of my quests is this one for Black fantasy, sci-fi, and speculative fiction. So it's what it sounds like. It's sci-fi fantasy by Black authors. And when I finished that book, I was at 9 read, and I need to get 10 to get the silver badge. And I'm like, I gotta get this badge, right? So I abandoned my books I was currently reading, and I saw that Dread Nation by Justina Ireland was on the list. So that's what I'm reading now because I really do want this badge. And also this has been on my TBR for like, this has probably been on my TBR for like 3 years, honestly. I heard about Justina Ireland at first from her work that she's done on like the Star Wars novels. This woman has written a lot of books, so I was very excited to pick this up. So just to tell you, I'm a little out of focus, sorry. Just to tell you a little bit about what Dread Nation is about. So this is basically like a historical alternative U.S. history set like right in / the end of the Civil War. So it's basically like during the Battle of Gettysburg, people started to rise from their graves and we have zombies now. So the whole concept is basically Civil War US, but add zombies. And then what ends up happening is they start putting these laws in place that require certain children of specific races, so Native American, Black children, to attend these combat schools and learn how to like put down the dead, right? So they're trained in how to become what they call attendants for the well-to-do, or pretty much the white people in this time in the US. So it's very much like almost like a how to have like manners type of school, but also training them in combat. So that's really interesting. This is very much more like historical more than zombie story. So I think if you go into this looking for like zombie fights, this is probably not going to be what you're going to get, but I really do love the representation in here. I really like our main character, Jane, and I also like the, I'm totally blanking on her name now, but there's a second character, it's like second character that's also a very strong supporting character, and I really do like her journey in here. There is a part that I'm getting to now where one of the characters is, like, trying to be white passing, like she is a lighter skinned Black woman or girl, these are children in this book, and she basically goes into this new area and the main character Jane is like, oh no, I'm her attendant, and is like trying to pass her off as being white. So that's a really interesting kind of concept just as far as like following that character being super nervous because she's like, if I'm discovered, this is gonna be like really, really bad for me. So it's definitely kind of like high stakes with that, obviously there is a lot of racism, just given the time period, the things they're having to endure, and just situations they find themselves in. So the racism that's in here is obviously very frustrating and anger inducing to read, but like, it's the point of the time period and the story, right? This is also YA, but it reads, I guess I would just say there's a lot of challenging topics that it's covering for being a YA book. And I'm really liking this so far. I am like, let me see how far I am. So I've been listening to the audiobook as well. Okay, I'm 90% through this book, and I didn't realize because I started like knitting and listening to the audiobook in between physically reading, so I am very far into this actually. So I will update you as soon as I finish that, but things are really heating up. This feels like it could definitely be a 4-star for sure, so I'll let you know when I do finish this. And then other than that, I just wanted to talk about kind of general plans for the rest of this vlog and the rest of the weekend. So now that it is Friday, it is actually the weekend. And this weekend I am participating in a weekend readathon with Jan's Patreon. If you're not familiar with Jan Agaton, she's a YouTuber here, and her Patreon is such a fun place to be. She's doing a weekend readathon that is going to be themed for Hoedown Throwdown readathon weekend. So I'm super excited to read some like cowboy books for that. And some of the like prompts that she's made up for it are to read something that's set in a small town, something that has found family, and then something with a hat or a horse on the cover. So for the found family, I actually got this book from the library, and I was reading the synopsis, and I was like, oh, this actually kind of does have found family in it. It's Hollow Inside by Asaku Otani, I think is how you say the author's name. And just to tell you a little bit about this, there's basically this girl with an office job, and she's depressed, and then she ends up moving in with her other colleague, and the two women are kind of like finding their routine in life without it being a romantic relationship. So they're pretty much just like escaping the pressures of romantic love isn't easy, lonely, and facing family pressure. Hirai anxiously rejoins dating apps and endures a painfully adequate match. Surely there must be another way to feel less hollow. So it's saying this is like a witty, deadpan story about trying to carve out spaces in a world of couples. So this should be interesting. I do believe this is a translated work, so I'll let you know more about what this is about really once I actually start it, because I feel like that did not give me too much. I think it's someone that's going on dates but doesn't want to, maybe. But it sounds like there's some found family with the roommate other girl in the story, so that's kind of why I chose it for that prompt. And then to read more like cowboy romances, I did get this from the library by the Bootstraps, and I heard about this coming out last year. Like I heard it was releasing this year, so I'm actually very excited to read this. This is a cowboy romance by a Black author, so I was excited to support that and see how this is. I do believe there's like a sports component to this. Sorry, my cat's trying to get my camera. So it's set in Texas, and it says that he is a head football coach at his old high school, but the town's best handyman. Okay, so a cowboy romance novel enthusiast discovers that everything's bigger in Texas, even love. So hopefully this will be good. When I saw the football part on the back, I was like, I hope there's not a bunch of football in here. But I'll let you know once I start this, yeah, how it is, basically. So that is the plan for the rest of today and the weekend, pretty much. I'm definitely going to finish Dread Nation tonight and then hopefully start By the Bootstraps. Right now, I do actually need to go get my nails done. I've been putting this off for like 2 weeks at this point. I'll show you before I go. My nails are like so grown out. And I'm in a wedding next week, so I really need to do something about that now. So I am going to head to the nail salon place, and hopefully it is not super busy so that I can come back here in a reasonable time. We'll see. It's also still like smoggy outside. If you didn't hear, there were like Canadian wildfires, and I'm in the Chicagoland area, so the Canada wildfires, the smoke has like traveled south, so it is not a good time to be in Chicago and breathe air. So I'm probably gonna put my mask on to rock to the nail shop and not die. I went out yesterday and it was like hard to breathe, so yeah, the planet is dying. That is the update. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Don't wait up or down. Don't be smart, right up. Don't wait up or down. Don't be smart, right up. All that day.
So I have some updates. I did end up finishing Dread Nation yesterday. I'm gonna end up giving this 4 stars. I really did like this, and I didn't realize it was a series, but I think I would definitely continue in this. Based on the way the book ends, I see how that's like leading into what the second book is going to be about. I really did like Jane and Catherine's friendship in this. I liked the relationships. It definitely grew on me as the book went on, like as I grew with the characters. I think Jane definitely has a lot of, I guess flaws, but she's like self-aware of it. And she's a little bit impulsive in some of these instances, but I don't blame her. Yeah, these were just such fun characters to follow. I liked the direction the story went in, and I had a good time with this. I do recommend the audiobook narrator for this too. I believe it is the same narrator that did Feybound as well as the Legendborn series, so I think she's just one of my favorite narrators now. I'll put her name here because I don't remember it off the top of my head, but anything else that she narrates, I think I would also check out audiobooks for. And then today I did start By the Bootstraps, and I am 136 pages into this, and so far I'm liking it. I know I mentioned when I was talking about the premise of this that there was like football involved, and so far there's really not. So the thing is that he coaches football for like the high school's football team, but it's really just kind of like mentioned in passing as a thing that he does, and then she is moving to this town and like goes to the track to run and get exercise or whatever, and like sees him coaching. So that's really the only football involvement, at least so far. I think if it was going to be a big part of the story, it would have been mentioned by now. It's kind of hinting at like he used to play football and now he's coaching. We don't fully get his whole backstory just yet, and I think that's also part of the plot, conflict, whatever we're going to get into with this. But basically this follows Luna Star is the main character's name, and she is moving to this small town in Texas from Colorado after a recent loss. So she is like dealing with grief and trying to find herself, and moved to this new town, bought a house there. I do have some questions as to how she bought this house, right? And then he's like asking her, oh, did you get the inspection done on the house? And she's like, yeah, but I didn't really look at it. Like, girl, what were you doing? So I guess she's just like grief stricken and was just like, I'm fine with whatever, I just want this house type of thing. But like, I don't know, just some of her choices are not the smartest, but it is a romance book, so that's kind of like a thing that is in most romances books, right? Like the main character just making stupid decisions that don't really make sense. But so long short, basically she buys this house in this small town, right? And then she moves in, she starts meeting people in the town. She at first meets him at like a bar when she first gets there, and she's just like really interested with him from the start. And then she later learns that her her neighbors that live near her are brothers. So then she comes to find out that the main other love interest is the brother of the neighbor that lives near her. And by near her, I think it's like 3 miles away or something, because it's like big ranch houses, whatever. So basically he's a handyman and a football coach, and he comes over to help her like fix up her house as she's moving in and getting settled. And he has a cute dog. So that's pretty much what's happening so far in this. I do like it so far. I am at a part that I'm kind of not super loving. I think it's just a common thing that they do in romance books. Like, he has a past he doesn't want to talk about, so he's like kind of being short-tempered with her. And maybe I don't really like it when men have attitudes. Like, in general, just say what your problem is, you know. So that bugs me. But I get that it's like they're creating the conflict that's gonna happen for them to get closer or whatever. So I will update you when I get further along in this. And then other than that, today I think we're going to run some errands. And completely unrelated, I do really want to read the Odyssey so I can see the movie. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it like within this next week, but that's like kind of a loose goal. Don't even own it, so that's going to be step 1, is buy the book. But I would like to read that before seeing the movie. Like, I've read parts of it in school at some point, but honestly I really don't remember much. Like, I feel like I need it fresh in my brain, and it would probably be good to like thoroughly go through and annotate. But with other things I'm trying to read in the next week, I don't know if that's going to happen. And then we do leave for vacation next Saturday, so we're like running some errands to try to get some last minute stuff for that too this weekend. Other than that, I'm trying to do more cowboy hoedown, throwdown, Hannah Montana related-ish things for the rest of this weekend with this readathon. I do have the Hannah Montana movie checked out from the library, so I think I might watch that later. I'm going to see if Angelo will watch that with me. I don't think he's ever seen it. I haven't seen it since I was younger, so we'll see how that ages. Yeah, other than that, I might do some crafts or something. So yeah, I'll update you when I get further in reading this, or we do something else. So yeah. Oh, and then also I did get my nails done yesterday, so check this out. They're so cute. She did like the little designs with the, so I'm excited. The if it'll focus, the wedding I'm gonna be in, all the bridesmaids are wearing like different colored dresses, and mine is purple, so it's gonna be great. Very excited for that. Hopefully, I think I got the right color of purple, but honestly I haven't actually held it up to the dress since I did that, so hopefully. But yeah, okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. this morning, I would rate this 4 stars. This was just a really fun, like, cowboy romance. I did like the inclusion of having, like, the rodeo element of it in here too. There was also a found family dynamic in this, so I think this is going to officially fulfill all of the prompts for the readathon for this weekend. And some of the other things I really liked in here was just like her home renovating journey and the little mishaps she had along the way, and how she was just like being really extra in her design choices and things like that in her house. And then I like that she was also randomly in a knitting circle. That was great. And I also liked the best friend Gabby in this. She was cool. So the male main character grew on me. Like, I think he was decent, but he wasn't super like amazing. I don't know, I think just like the main female character kind of was the selling point on this for me. I would pick up more by it's Alexa Martin, right? I'm sorry, her name is like covered up by the library thing. Yeah, Alexa Martin. So I know she's written some other romance books, so I would definitely check those out. But if you are looking for you know, a cowboy romance that's written by a Black author, I think this would be a good place to start, because I honestly have not seen very many like cowboy western romances written by just BIPOC authors in general. So if you know of any others, definitely let me know, just to continue to, you know, diversify my reading and things like that. And then other than that, I did not end up getting to the other book I mentioned, Hollow Inside. I think I might just return it to the library. I might give it a chance and see how it is, because it sounded good, but I think that I'm going to divert in my reading plans once again. I did end up buying the Odyssey, so I am very excited to start this, potentially go see the movie. So I'm kind of abandoning other things to start this. As you've seen this week, I might not be the best at sticking to the plan. I am reading, but reading what's planned is doesn't always happen. I still have not read any more in Den of Vipers or the Communist Manifesto, and I do really just want to finish both of those. I think that I'm gonna make one of them like my morning book and one like my nighttime book. Well, probably read Den of Vipers at night, because starting the day with that just does not feel like it's going to be a good productive start of the day. So I think that's what I'll do just for the next like few days until I finish both of those, just to have them like off of my current reads. But overall, this was a pretty successful reading week. I know I went like a Sunday to a Sunday, so technically I went over one day, but I did end up finishing 5 books, so that was definitely a successful week. City of Bones I had started before, so I was already like pretty far into it, but still just for like finished for the week would count towards that. Unfortunately, I did not have any 5-star reads this week, but I did have some new to me authors that I think I'll definitely revisit. Shanora Williams with the thriller, and then Justina Ireland, I'll definitely check out more of her work, and then also Alexa Martin. So I'm excited to have read some new authors and continue reading more from them. I'll update you in a vlog soon. If you're new here, like, comment, subscribe, whatever I'm supposed to tell you to do, and see you next time. Bye.